Hello, ladies. Good to see you all. Welcome back. Hi to my speakers. How are you all doing today?
Awesome. I'm
Good.
fired up listening to the ladies that's been sharing today. I wasn't able to catch everything, but what I could catch was phenomenal. Definitely.
Amazing, amazing. I'm just going to make sure everything is set up here on this end. Welcome to our attendees. I see you all joining. So just a quick round of hello while I'm setting up and whilst people are joining us. Let's go around in a little circle and just maybe introduce yourself or just say hello from our speakers. Jessica, our co-host, would you like to begin?
Hello, ladies. Welcome. It's today, Thursday, our fourth day of panels, our fourth day of amazing speakers. What a fabulous event. I'm excited to be here and be a co-host. And I will let someone else introduce themselves before we get started. Romel.
Yeah. Hi. Hello again to anyone that caught me yesterday. But yeah, I'm Romel. My talk yesterday was all about moving from adversity to advancement. I am an intuitive transformational coach. I podcast, I mentor, amongst a lot of other stuff. So yeah, and I'm really excited for this panel. I think this is an amazing topic that we are going to be talking about tonight. Well, tonight from where I am. But yeah, just to say the energy over the last 4 days has been absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I'd love to know how everyone is feeling. Like, what has inspired you? What's triggered you? What's been your biggest takeaway from these last 4 days? Because even though I'm one of the speakers, trust me, I've been learning some things in these last 4 days myself. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think for the attendees, type in the chat, what's a big win or a takeaway from this week?
Yeah, I'd love to hear from you, ladies. Right, so welcome to our attendees. Today we'll be talking about how to be empowered to ask for what you want. And I feel like as women, sometimes we just don't ask, and that could be our biggest fall down. We want something, but we don't voice it. We don't use our voices enough, maybe don't feel confident, maybe we don't feel empowered to ask for what we want. I'm excited to have a panelist here today. Jessica and Nita is going to be co-hosting this wonderful panel, this discussion. And of course, our panelists are speakers from the Women Thrive Summit, some of who you already met, and some maybe you haven't yet. So we have Romel, we've got wonderful Colette, Monica, Kim, Maya, and Nita and Jessica will be co-hosting this panel. To make sure you engage in the chat, let us know where in the world you are, a little bit about yourself, that would be beautiful. And if you know someone who should be here in this room right now, share that to somebody who you could invite. Deborah, good to see you today as well. I'll hand it over to my panelists.
Perfect. I don't know, Nidu, if you want to kick it off or if you want me to jump in. I have some questions ready to ask, so.
Sure. And I think before we kick it off, we would be remiss not to absolutely thank Raymonda for inviting us co-hosts and also for founding the Women Thrive Summit. She has been elevating women on a global scale for the third straight year through this summit. And I'm personally absolutely delighted to meet today's incredibly inspiring panelists who've been powerful forces of courage and motivation during this Women Thrive Summit. We are going to put the energy out there in the universe for all of you today. Let's get you empowered to ask for what you want, whether it's that promotion, whether it's more money, greater flexibility, or a new opportunity, or something else that's unique to you. Let's help you stand out, to be seen, to be heard. And that's the way this positive change is going to happen for you. But it all starts with making that ask. So I'm going to turn it over to Jessica so we can start with our first question and we'll take it from there.
Perfect. Thank you. What a great introduction and setting kind of the tone for the day or the evening or night for some of you. I want to know from you ladies, first of all, do you have a hard time asking for what you want? If you do, why do you think that is? If you're like, no, I go after it, I just ask. Have you always been like that? Or was there kind of a transition at some point in your life? There was kind of like something that, I'm just going to start going after it. All right, Kim, you're right in there.
Yes, I wanted to make sure I was off mute. So glad to be here with you all today. This has been an amazing summit. And I didn't know how to ask for what I wanted because I had no idea what I wanted. So, right? Like, I think that's the first thing, is to get really clear about what it is that you want. So if you're clear about what you want, that's the first step. I mean, you still have to go out and ask for what you want, right? But I'll let somebody else take that. But getting really clear, taking the time, taking a step back, asking yourself, what is it that I want? What am I willing to do? What am I not willing to do? And really going through that vibe. And when something presents itself, I think is really, really helpful.
And I love that. I think a big piece of what a lot of us women have talked about this week is that clarity. We need that clarity. We need that awareness. So Deborah.
Well, I discussed this yesterday as part of my journey. I've always been responsible. I've always handled everything. So it's very difficult for me to ask for help. It was very difficult for me to not to try to figure it out myself, because that's what I do, right? So yeah, being able to ask for help, I still struggle with it, but I'm learning to do it more because I need it, especially in the business world. There's just stuff you don't know. So you definitely need help. But for me, that is definitely a journey because of my struggle of feeling like I have to do it myself and I have to be responsible.
Yeah, I think that's so true and so common, right? We have to do everything ourselves. It's so hard to ask. Romel.
Yeah, very similar to Deborah. I'm still learning to ask for help, but for me, it was very much learned from family. So I was raised by very strong women who had to do it by themselves. And their thing was, you don't ask for help. If you want something done, you go and get it done. And that's what I was raised on all my life. And then also what I saw is, if I was around different circles of people, there was this thing of, when you do ask, you then automatically owe somebody something. So it will be like, oh, do you remember when I done that for you? Oh, can you do that for me? Because remember when I done this? And so I was like, do you know what? No, I'd rather not have to go through all of that. If I want something done, I'll follow what my family said and I'll just get it done myself. So that is something that I've really had to, and I still struggle at times, but I'm learning how to break that cycle of, sometimes you do need help. You can't do it all on your own because you don't have all the knowledge. How can you do it all on your own when you don't have all the knowledge? And sometimes you need a fresh perspective as well. So everything that's in your mind is very limited. Other people will have all these amazing ideas that can be contributed for you to move forward. So that's my experience.
Yeah, and for sharing. And I think asking for help is so hard, and asking for what you want is like, we will not get, we'll get 0% of 0% questions we ask for what we want. Coylette.
So I think for me, at one point in time in my life, I devalued myself just based on my life and different struggles and different things that I walked through. And once I came into the realization of my own self-worth and my own value, then now I don't have any problem asking for what I want. And I think that we as women, we have to get to a place where we appreciate our value. Because in so many areas in life, we can be devalued and we take on that negativity. And so we don't feel that we're worthy of what we want to ask for and what we're looking to do. So I just want to encourage the women to recognize and understand that you are a great value. You are of great value. So therefore, you are worthy to achieve and to receive whatever it is that you want to go out there and ask for.
Yes, I love that. I love it. Monica.
Coylette, you said exactly what I wanted to say. I guess it comes with age. But the biggest transition I had all my life, I was also afraid to ask for help because I thought it's a sign of weakness. Not good enough. If I ask for something, it means I'm not perfect. And then as I progressed and became more confident and really cherishing every single bit of me, even those, like not being able to spell correctly, it's okay. This is who I am. And now I know that I have tremendous gifts. They are not for everybody, but I know I'm an expert in certain area. And every single woman is talented, at least in one area. Could be cooking, could be whatever. And then I know there are people that are talented in their area. So if I'm not going to ask for help, I deprive them of them showing up their beautiful talent.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Manja.
Yes, I love this topic. I've gotten better at the ask because, conditioned to think that, like you say, we need to know the answers. But you very quickly realize with experience that we can't know all the answers. And something that resonated very clearly with me was a book I read called Who, Not How. And that has become my question that I ask myself when I'm coming up on an opportunity or an idea and I want to take it forward. Instead of thinking, how can I do that? I think of who can best support this? Who can take this on even? Because we can't grow unless we figure out ways to multiply ourselves. And, as busy women, it's important to ask. And another thing that's been helpful for me is Mel Robbins' 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're familiar with that, raise your hand. I love that because usually you're only afraid of asking. You're afraid of asking that person for a collaboration or a phone call or for help or to work for you or whatever. So I like to think 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I just go and I do it. And the great opportunities don't come unless you ask. So I've just learned that get over yourself. They're just people too, go ahead and ask for those opportunities and think about who can help rather than how can I struggle through on my own.
And I love that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is such a great pattern interrupt. It kind of like doesn't allow you to have fear, like interrupts that fear and you just ask for what you want. Carolina.
Hello, ladies. Wow, I really love this topic because I relate with so many moments in my life. I was very shy, believe it or not. When I was young, I was very, very shy. So I was very afraid to ask for help. And when I got my voice issue, appeared, I was one of these persons that said, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. I was keeping walking. Everything is okay. And I was not realizing that I needed to ask for help. I was like that thing that Monica mentioned before, that we tend to believe that we are strong or stronger if we do not ask for help. And actually it's the opposite. The opposite is asking for help is the bravest form of releasing yourself, right? So it took me a while, to realize that. It took me a while to say, I'm not alone. And there are so many people that can help me on this. And that's the way you find the answers. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I know everyone has so much to say on this and we're going to keep diving into it, but I do want to get to more questions and I'd love to pass this over to Nidu to ask to see if she'd like to jump in with a question.
Yes, and actually, you know what? I'm going to piggyback off of what Carolina said because it was so powerful. Is you are, as a person, you are losing yourself if you're not making that ask. So I would love for the panelists to all describe that kind of breakthrough moment in your life where you made that ask, what it felt like. Let's tell our audience what that felt like, and let's tell the audience what you were no longer missing out on by making that ask. So we have Tanel.
Hey everyone, great to be here. I have 8 kids, so I have to ask. because there's no way I'd be even here if I didn't have help, right? So for me, it's I at one point in time, I think it's stereotypical roles that are placed on women that make it seem like you have to be everything, do everything at all times, and be perfect in everything that you do, and that's not realistic. So for me to be able to do anything at all, like anything, to take a shower, to brush your teeth, like it's, to do business, to do anything, I have to be able to have a system in place. And that system does not just involve me. I think that's whether it's at home or it's in business or anything, to be able to really accomplish destiny, it takes a village to raise, 8 children, I guess 8 villages, so it takes a lot of people to do, what I do. And I think it was Monica was mentioning that, sometimes we equate asking for help to weakness, and we do that because sometimes I believe the images that are projected to us say, you have to be a superwoman, and this is how superwomen are, and they do everything, they're perfect, their hair is perfect, their makeup is perfect, everything's perfect, their teeth is perfect, their nails are perfect, they just show up perfect, and their kids are perfect. And that's not the reality. The kids, the hair can be all over the place, you're trying to cook and somebody's hanging onto your leg. Like, the reality is that that's just not, life is not picture perfect. So I would say, in asking for help, I think asking for help is so important. And I had to get to a point where I did ask for help because I was trying to do everything and just try to be everything. And it made me fall sick, and I was sick. I was getting sick over and over and over, and thinking that, well, maybe I need to exercise more, eat well, whatever. And it wasn't that. It was just that I was doing too much and I wasn't delegating things. And I had to get to the point where I understood that in order to do more, I had to do exactly what I was supposed to do and ask for help in the areas that I could delegate.
That was beautiful. And I think what was so spoken about that truth is behind every successful woman is a village. But to get that village, we as women, it's not handed to us, and we absolutely have to make that ask. So that was such a beautiful, beautiful example. Thank you so much. We have Jan.
Yes, I'm here, just trying to make sure I'm unmuted. Asking, it's one of those things that psychologically on a communications level, this is what happens to us. We have the wrong perspective, the wrong mindset in our brains. We're looking for perfection as the goal. If perfection's your goal, you're going to stay stuck, because number one, perfection doesn't exist. And number two, you're going to exist in a space of scarcity and fear, essentially, because your subconscious brain knows perfection's impossible, but yet somehow irrationally, you're going to fight for it anyway. What a ridiculous scenario. Let's look at it this way. If progress becomes your baseline, you're going to ask for everything, every minute, every hour of the day, because you want to progress. And the greatest failure is staying stuck. That is my point. I'm complete.
Beautiful. And thank you for being so truthful. And sometimes we as women, we all need to hear it exactly how it is, right? No sugarcoating, just tell us how it is. All right, Manja.
Could you remind me of your question that you originally asked? Because I felt it was a really good question and I want to do it justice.
Oh, absolutely. So what we want to do with this question is really to empower you as the listener on this panel. And we want to give you examples of women who have made the ask, the difference it's made in their lives, and really how they were able to elevate from that ask.
I loved that question and I wanted to recall it. As I mentioned, I was changing pee-pee pants over here on the deck. So that's mother's life sometimes. And
more power to you.
Yeah, I just recall, and maybe this is because I'm an elder millennial, but I recall when I was in, a very serious role in a bank, and I never understood why there were all these layers of hierarchy. It didn't make sense to me. And my work touched every employee in training. And I thought, why can't I speak to that senior level manager and understand more what's going on in that department? But no, you can't do that. You can't go and ask that person because they are 3 or 4 levels above you. And that always felt so ridiculous because I thought, you know what? That person pulls up his pants in the morning. That person brushes their teeth. Like, what is so special about that person? And I think it was that perception of just thinking it was bizarre having all these layers of special people that I didn't grow up with that. And I thought, how odd. And so I just would ask, and people were shocked that I would go against this political construct. And so I think what happened for me was I didn't have that idea that people were inaccessible. And so if we can lead with the perception that we're all people and we're all accessible to each other, no one is more special than someone else. We're just all great. So that to me was something that stuck with me. And I usually will ask just about anybody anything now because I figure, why not? You're a person, we all do the same things. And so that has impacted my business in a lot of ways and my personal life because I think I've gotten more opportunities because I just go ahead and ask. I figure, what's the worst that can happen? They say no. Oh, well.
Absolutely. I don't think you could have said that as beautifully as you did. We're going to move right along to Kim.
Yeah, so when Manja was talking, it reminded me of a really funny story. So I was in business for like 10 minutes. I had just gotten out of college and I had just gotten a job, and I was working at a movie cinema in their corporate office, and I had to order all their concessions, popcorn and all the things. And so, it was a small company. It was growing massively, but really small. And I reported directly to the VP, 20, 40 years experience. I don't even know. He knew everything. And he was mentioning this person. I'm going to say the person has since passed, but Peter Lay, when I talked to Peter Lay, whatever. So I had a trouble with a delivery of Pepsi for one of the theaters. So what do? I pick up the phone and I call Peter Lay. Who is Peter Lay? The number 2 guy at Pepsi. So he was so gracious with me. He took the call. He literally, answered my questions and all the things. And then he ended up calling, my boss, like the captain of everything. And they just had a nice chuckle about it. It was one of the most supportive moments that I experienced in corporate. And I just remembered it just this minute. I mean, I was probably 22, didn't know what I was doing, but you know what I learned? You can ask. You can always get a great answer. People could be supportive, and you can, just approach it. Of course, I was embarrassed. I'm probably blushing a little bit now because I haven't told the story really anywhere, but asking it really always works out. When you look back and think about the things that you asked, it's probably worked out.
Yeah, I'd like
I
to just jump
absolutely
in for a
love that
second.
example. Yes, Jessica.
I just want to throw that question to you, Nidu. Like, I'd love to hear your insights and your experience in that kind of moment from you.
I actually have a lot of different moments and a lot of different experiences, but I'm going to give you one. When I started off in the corporate world, and I started off at a company, a software company that was then acquired by Fortune 500. And during my performance reviews, I would be afraid to, they would give me the stellar performance review, but at the end of that, it was my turn to ask. And the best ask I could have had was, well, if I've performed, I've met and exceeded my goals, well, it's time for a promotion, or it's time for me to elevate to that next level. And as a young, 20-something-year-old, it was hard for me to figure out how to make that ask. And I think as women, sometimes, it's kind of natural for men to just say, well, this is what I need out of this, and it's no problem, we'll give it to you. But I think as women, we haven't been trained in that mindset to make that ask. But actually, there's a Forbes article that says that if it would just take a few dollars more per week, most bosses would happily pay you. And why? Because the cost of recruiting and hiring and onboarding a new employee is very costly. And I know that now as a business owner myself, that the turnover costs for even a minimum wage employee on average can be like $4,000 or $5,000 a year. So imagine that, right? Because it's the turnover rate. Now you got to retrain new employees and you got to go through your whole hiring and rehiring process. And so I think there is something so powerful in investing in ourselves. And remember, as women, we have to realize we are the best investment in ourselves. We are valued in our relationships at the workplace and in life. And it's in everyone's best interest to make sure that we are happy and fulfilled. So I hope that when you walk out of this talk today, that you have that elevated empowerment to make that ask, because really at the end of the day, like someone said earlier, what have you got to lose?
Oh, I was on mute. I love that. Thank you for sharing. I do just want to give the floor for one more second to Jan. I know she has to jump off right away because it's way past my bedtime where she is. So I'm just going to let her speak before she leaves us.
Yes, it's nearly 1 a.m. in Dubai, so I do have to get my beauty sleep. But what I wanted to say is at the core of asking, the fundamental psychological barrier is often rejection, okay? It's that primal thing. Even as a child, nobody wants to be rejected, and it's part of the herd mentality. You're going to be life-threatening conditions if you get rejected from your herd and your tribe. This is what we have to do with the frontal cortex, where your animalistic brain gets put in check and you put your intelligence at the forefront. You've got to understand, go into those negotiations, go into those one-to-one dynamics, go into those conferences with the expectation that rejection is an option. Go in there with all eyes open. And I'm going to ask for that. Raimonda will know this. I DM'd her. Raimonda, we're having a chat now, please. Are you ready? Right. I would like this and this and this. Can you deliver? Right. 2 out of 3. Not bad. I'm going with 2 out of 3. That's okay. And we will have discussions as frank as that. She will say yes. She will say no. I totally respect her position as an independent woman with agency, but I'm going to ask. And I don't mind the rejection because I've succeeded in not staying stuck. I wish you all good night and happy paneling. I'll catch you all later, hopefully. Bye-bye.
Bye, Jen. Thank you so much. And I think I, for myself, had such a hard time asking for anything. And I remember just like my husband one day is just asking all this stuff. And I hear him on a call. I'm like, you just asked that? Like, I'm like, what if they say no? He's like, then they say no. Like, who cares? I'm like, man, I need to be more like this. So I want to hear from you, Elena. I know you've had your hand up for a long time.
Yeah, no, loving this conversation. I think what Jan just said is so powerful. I mean, that certainly was the story for me. Hated asking, terrified of asking, terrified of rejection, just wouldn't do it. I remember actually distinctly this moment years ago. I was in this group in this networking event for business, and there was a particular CEO that I was dying to get his business. And there was one of those meetings where they're having drinks, they're having canapes, a social environment, and there's one person that everyone's hunting. And I know I need to approach him and talk to him. And I remember being completely terrified, like couldn't really think, like couldn't drink, couldn't enjoy my moment. And just before I was going to get enough courage to walk up to him, I was like, oh, not now, I won't do it. And I didn't do it. And I remember walking out from that event, just feeling so low, just feel like beating myself up. And that feeling of hurt, the pain of not going for it was so big. The next time there was an event like that, when he was in the room, in the first 10 minutes, with my hands shaking, with my knees literally shaking. I mean, you should have seen me. I was sweating. I could not speak, but oh my word, I am walking up to him and I'm asking for his business. Shaking, I mean, I don't know what I blurted out. It was something that didn't make any sense. But I don't even care what he said. I was proud of myself that I did it. And you know what? When I walked out of that networking event, I was so damn proud. I was like, I did it. I conquered my own fear. I did not care about the reaction. I was like, Elena, you've done it. And since that, I always remember the feeling of hurt when you don't do it, and I just do it.
Yes, that is so powerful. That is so powerful. Just do it. right? Just do it. And I do want to throw out another question and get some insights on this, but I'd love to know if any of you ladies have ever missed out on any opportunity. So missed out maybe on a personal life opportunity, a business opportunity, because you didn't ask for what you wanted. Carolina, do you want to kick that off?
I'm still thinking about that one because I actually asked for what I wanted. And it's funny because sometimes you ask for what you want or what you think the best is for you. But then sometimes happens that you don't get it right away, right? But you get something else as a consequence because your path was going to another way, right? You are different path. And that's actually happened to me several times. Like I was before in the big consulting business, in banking. I was promoted. When I was promoted, I was supposed to be happy, but then my environment got so jealous of my promotion that I shrinked because everybody in my environment was not celebrating my promotion. That's very hard, And then after that, when I was supposed to get promoted again, I didn't. So, and now I understand why I didn't, because I was supposed to create another business, right? So, yeah, I think I was gonna talk about also before about that ask for what you want is part of your visualization process. Like you visualize your future, you visualize your business or your personal growth, but then asking for what you want is one of the key basic steps to put that visualization in reality, actually. So that's my point.
I think Colette has her hand up as well.
So your question was, have you ever missed out on something because you didn't ask? And I have. And what I found very interesting is later, after I missed something that I really needed, that individual that I was told to ask said, why didn't you say something? All you needed to do was ask me, and I would have taken care of it for you. So it's like, it just really, it took me to the scripture that says you have not because you ask not, you got to ask, nothing beats a failure but a try. So, don't miss out and have somebody tell you, all you had to do was ask me, why didn't you say something? Because you were afraid to step out and ask. Just do it, just ask.
That is so true. Tanel?
I was a part of a series. I have access training, so I was a part of a series here in Africa. And we did the first season of the series. I got paid a certain amount, and I had to go into the second season. Now, there's a little bit of a gap before the second season, so I kind of waited, and I thought, based on my training, I think I did great. Like, they gave me an okay role first season. I got a couple, wasn't a couple episodes. And we're coming up to the second season, and I thought, I think I need a pay increase here, but I'm not too sure about what I don't know how to go about doing this, and it's okay, in your mind, you're thinking, I don't want to be the treasuries and all of that. And for the second season, there's a lot of people that got dropped, but I was on with all the main actors. So I kept thinking to myself, that would have to mean that I did pretty good. I'm here with like the main ones, like I did pretty good, but nevertheless, I still didn't make that ask. And it taught me a lesson after I found out how much everybody was being paid and I was not being paid, because I said to myself, you know what, Tanel, why did you not ask? Why didn't you ask? And sometimes our us not asking is about us. It's about what we believe about ourselves. and we have to correct that because a lot of times we are worth more, are qualified more, are capable more of than what we think, and we don't see our value like we are seeing ourselves. Other people are not seeing us the same way. So when I was done with that series, I had a lot of people from just different places calling me, and I never had to audition again, and people were seeing that, but I wasn't seeing what I brought. So I left that on the table because I had to learn a lesson, and boy, did I learn one. So that's what happened.
That is so beautiful. Elena.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, actually, I think another thing that I realized is that when I saw people asking, or when they asked me something, actually, I was afraid of judgment. But actually, when someone asks me, what it shows to me is they have thought about this before. They really want it. There's someone who knows what they want, really like thought carefully about what they want and ask for it. Actually, I think it's a sign of power. It's a sign of strategy. It's a sign of intelligence. Because the reason why people don't ask is because they haven't thought about it. They haven't thought about it, or they may be afraid. But actually, when I realized that, it's incredible when someone asks you of a favor, someone asks you of help, you're like impressed by them. And I was like, wow, that's just another way to think. Actually, you shouldn't be asking for it.
You are absolutely right. And you know what? There's a common thread here, I think, that we're kind of seeing is there's a lot of women, I think, that are listening and that want to make the ask. But a lot of us have discussed, it's hard to sometimes to see our value, our worth. And that has been a common thread of struggle. Somebody just put in the chat, being worthy is one of my struggles. So a question I have for this panel is, what, if you were to give one tidbit of advice that you want someone to really take from this panel to feel worthy, to feel confident enough to feel empowered enough to actually make that ask and feel that they are worthy enough to make that ask, what would that be for you? I'm going to start with Maja.
Sure. I love this. What makes you worthy? Well, the fact that you are on this planet makes you worthy because you are a miracle. Everybody is. The fact that you managed to come together in this shape and form and be here with these talents is a miracle. So you start off with that value right there. I think doing some self-reflection on the strengths you have is a really great tactical place to start. And I think sometimes we forget that we have been successful in something. We often have the wrong marker, and that can be generally revenue is our success. Well, why not write down all the things you've learned and managed to do or thought of, or discoveries you've made or ahas you've had? These are all measures of success. So just like understanding what you have done and accomplished and celebrating yourself more for even just small pivotal changes are great. The third thing I wanted to mention here, and I feel like I'm losing my train of thought. I may have to come back to it, but basically it's you are worthy, you are valuable. Make note of what is great about you. And the third thing is understand and get clarity around what you want to ask. I think that can be hard. We don't know what to ask for because we don't ask because we don't know what we're asking for. So really ask yourself, what is it you need help with? Do you need help with the kids? Do you need a raise? Do you need to ask that person to connect? What do you need? And sometimes you can go in just with an open, curious hand, but other times it's helpful if you really know and write down what it is you want or need. That clarity can help.
Thank you so much, Maja. Carolina, you had your hand up. What do you think would be a great piece of advice to give a woman to make her feel that she is worthy enough to make that ask?
Well, I'm thinking about two things. First of all, like Mania said, you wake up every day, right? You have the gift to wake up every day. And that means that you have a mission in this world. That's a sign that you have a mission. You have something to do here. So That's the first thing. And then I was gonna say, write down your strengths, as Manuel said. And my question is, do you have any passion? Is there anything that really fulfills you? Like in my case, dancing, right? If you have passions, you're probably gonna be very good at that. Or if you're not good yet, you have the ability to get the tools to get good at it. So that's my piece of advice.
I love that. And I love the piece about writing down your strengths to remind yourself about your own self-worth, because at the end of the day, no one's going to do that more for you than you're going to do for yourself. And you deserve it. You absolutely deserve it. Monica, you've had your hand up for some time. Love to hear from you.
Yes, I'm going to go in a different direction a little bit. So I know from my clients that people are very quick and open to write negative things about themselves. And when you say write good things about yourself, people struggle. So my advice would be write all the negative things about yourself first, clear it, let it out of your body, empty the vessel, and then start writing all the positive. And you can always write, when you write something negative, look at it. Is it really true? Is it really true? Apply the question, why? Is it true? And if you, from a Buddhist point of view, we are here because we deserve it. We could have been born an animal, an ant, or a dog, but we are born as a human. So that's a precious gift. And with our amazing mind and our amazing power, we can create so much. So being grateful for being alive, being grateful that you can hear, you can smell, you can see, you can think, because there are many other beings on this planet which do not have this possibility. That's enough. That's perfect. And you're worthy. That's what I wanted to add.
That was amazing, Monica. And if for all of you on this panel and listening in today, if you don't know, Monica is a healer, and I'll tell you, I mean, a beautiful one at that. So that was gorgeous. Thank you. Tanel.
I would say to separate yourself from the outcome. Yes or no does not equate to your value. I think we really need to understand that yes or no has nothing to do with you or your value. It has nothing to do with you. That yes or that no, it's literally to deal with the situation. And I would dare to say, if somebody tells you no, you might even want to take it a step further and say, hey, okay, no problem. You said no, but I'd ask why. Just because sometimes when you ask why, you can actually answer those things and clear it up for them, or you can get more information that helps you get a better chance when you ask next. So I think, it's your yes or your no is not your value. I think somebody before, I think it was Jan, mentioned about rejection. We're so scared of rejection because we personalize the outcomes of stuff sometimes, and it has nothing to do with you, so understand that irregardless of a yes or no, you're valuable. That does not change your worth, so, and also just allow yourself to just take a step out and just go ahead and do it, separating yourself from the outcome, but understanding that you have, I think it was someone said that you have a mission. There's a reason why you're asking. So why are you compelled to ask? If you're compelled to ask, know your reason, but separate yourself from the outcome.
I love that, Tanel, and I'll just chime in there. There is something very common about women who feel that they are making themselves vulnerable by asking. And we may always ask ourselves whether we're going to put ourselves out there and be vulnerable. And we absolutely are. But you know what? Vulnerability and putting yourself out there is actually a critical part of getting what you want. Mm-hmm. And there's actually a whole TEDx topic on this, and it's called The Art of Asking. So I encourage women to really listen to it and understand that it's a part of the process. But you will be successful. All right, let's go to Deborah.
I just really wanted to be brief, but self-worth starts with self-care. How are you taking care of yourself? What are the things that you're doing to make you feel good, to be able to have self-worth? So always remember that when we're struggling with self-worth, we really have to look within ourselves, and we really have to look at what we're doing to make ourselves happy. What are we doing to take the time to just think about ourselves? And like I said in my talk yesterday, I love manicures, pedicures, massages. I do all those things for just me, right? And that's self-care. So I'm taking care of me, and I am worthy enough to do those things for myself. So always remember, it starts with self-care and how you feel about yourself.
That is so beautiful. And trust me, I'm a big proponent of self-care. So I'm with you there. Ramel.
Yeah, kind of going off the back of what Deborah said, because sometimes we can think, all right, we've just got to push past it. We just got to do it. We just got to ask. And you might find yourself in a position where you do ask that one time, but then you retreat back because it's like, okay, I've done it once. I don't know how I feel about that. So let me retreat back into myself. So just a bit of advice about how to start rewiring your brain to stop thinking that you are not worthy of the ask and start believing that you are worthy is affirmations can be so powerful and declaring your truth. So like Monica said, like write down the negatives, but then after you do that, make a whole new declaration, write down who you vision in your mind. Who do you see? Who is your dream? So I'm trying to get the right words, but who is the dream you? Who is the woman that's inside of your head that's trying to burst out? What does she look like? What does she feel like? What would she say? Write it all down and then just keep rereading it. Whatever it is, like, I am a powerful woman. Okay, keep reading it every single morning. Just read it. Every single thing. I ask for what I want. I take action. Whatever it is that you want to be doing on a regular basis, start rewiring your brain by writing these things down. And every single morning, whether you have to do it morning, afternoon, and night, just read it until you start believing it. And when you start believing it, it will come out in your actions, and it will just become a natural thing, because you'll be like, yeah, well, that's what I want to go and chase. This is who I am. So you won't find yourself retreating back so much. So yeah, sorry, I just wanted to add that little bit.
Oh, I'm with you, sister. And those affirmations, I have my young daughters starting on them now. We start with it in the morning, we end with it in the evening, because could you imagine where we would be as women today had we started with those affirmations when we were their young, tender age? So, I mean, but there's never too late a time to start. And I think that's what's so important is, I know there's some, if you're looking at the chat, there is just some wonderful examples. There's some wonderful exercises you can do just to reaffirm and really engage in that. So please do, because it is powerful at any stage of your life. And we're going to go to Elena before we turn it over back to Jessica. Elena.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I think, when you asked the question, I was thinking, the whole question itself, am I worthy? Certainly for me, that question was always like, the whole concept is really means worthy by someone. Someone else defines your worth. Someone else will decide if you're good enough, if you're successful. Someone else defined if you look good, if you're a good mother, you're a good wife. That worthiness in itself, and that was my story, was defined by someone else. I certainly was a people pleaser. External validation was how I define success, achievement by somebody else's rules. And this whole worthiness, am I worthy? The even question itself means you're looking externally outside of yourself. And that was me. And actually, when the realization through years became that it's just me and me. It's just me and me. Me and me decide how valuable am I. And in fact, for me, confidence is the promises I keep to myself. It's the promises I keep to myself. It's just me and me. It's just me and me. Like, we define how much we're worthy. No one else. And this has been a journey. It still is a journey on a daily basis. But I have to say, this me and me conversation has been incredible.
I love that, Elena. I'm so happy you said that because that's exactly what I was going to say. I like confidence to like really boost your confidence, your self-esteem. That's like, stop breaking the commitments you make to yourself, like no matter how big or small it is, right? So if you tell yourself, I'm going to do a 20-minute walk today, then you do that 20-minute walk. And every time you do that, you're proving to yourself, I am worthy. I am confident. Like I'm boosting my self-esteem. So I'm so happy you brought that up. And today I gave my talk and I talked about this idea of ownership, right? Taking ownership for your life. And that's the ownership of the past, present, future. And you're not blaming your outside conditions and circumstance. You're not looking to other people to make you, feel good, feel worthy. It's about yourself. You all have the choice to show up and respond and react to every situation, however you choose to do that. And so such a powerful conversation. I am loving this. I'm loving the chat. There's so much good conversation coming in here. I would love to know, I guess, kind of as we're wrapping up here, what really, like, what does give you courage to ask, right? I mean, we're all, and whether that's in business or in life, but like for me, I think of my why. And I know on Monday, we talked so much about our purpose, like what's your purpose? And my why is, to help women just empower themselves to be that hero in their story, as many as I can. So when I ask for someone, it's not even just about me personally, but it's about making a difference in other people's lives. And so when I can think about, hey, if I don't ask for this, then that's also doing a disservice to all of these other humans that I could help live a better life, right? So what is your kind of like kick in the bum? Where does your courage come from? Or what's your why? To know.
I'd say my kids are my why, my daughters, especially I'm not saying all my kids, but my daughters for sure are my why, because I consider setting an example for them as a woman to be a very important thing. I spoke to you about one example. I just got another opportunity here and talking about the why and why we ask. When I was told the amount that, I think I spoke to you a little bit about it, Ramonda. I was told the amount that I was supposed to be paid for that. And I asked them for 7 times more. And I got it, so I got it. So I thought, and I said, I'm going to step out because I know what I'm worth. I know what I can do. I know the work that's going to be put into it. So I'm going to ask for that. And I'm not going to ask for anything else. And I'm going to have a cap as to what I will not go under because I know the value I can provide. So I think in knowing that, for me, it's really setting a standard for my daughters to follow, understanding that what I do, they're going to take it up, right? They're going to turn it up from there. But I do have to be the example that they see. So it's my daughters.
I love that, leading that example, right? Because kids don't listen to what you say, they learn what you do. And so that's so, so powerful. Coylette.
So my why is my purpose. There are so many people that are connected to each and every one of us, just like Tanel said about her daughters. There's your family, but then there's the extension of why you were created. Your purpose was to be the answer for someone. I've said this almost every day. You're the answer to somebody's prayer. You're the answer to somebody's situation. And so my why is I've got to ask, not just for me, but for all of those that are connected to me. Because if I don't ask, if I don't know, number one, and if I don't have the courage to step out there, then what about those that are coming behind me or those that are walking alongside of me, that my asking will not just benefit me, but it benefits everybody that's connected to me. So my why is my purpose. My purpose is to be there for those that have been assigned for me.
I love that. I am with you on that so much. And there's lots of agreeing. Love how you show up, Coylette, Raymonda says, and you have just shown up as a rock star in this community. And I just love watching you and hearing you every day. Carolina.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Coylette. Like, it's very important to know your mission, your different missions, because you can have several of them. They can be complementary, right? In my case, like professionally speaking, I have young people that they graduate to find a job, because I know what it is to be 1 or 2 years with an MBA at 23 years old without a job. I've been there. So I don't want it to be there anymore. And second one is I help small and medium business owners to really grow, because I am a small business owner as well. So everything is about identification, I guess. And regarding dancing, I already shared my wife before, but I really want to help the community. I mean, I help other people that they have struggled as well through dancing, because this is what really saved me. So that's my wife and my family, of course.
I love it. I think we're all in agreement that we would love to do a Zoom dance collectively together with you, Carolina. All right, we'll go to Monica and then Manya, and then we'll start to wrap it up as we're coming close to the end of the hour.
So the biggest why when I was listening to the ladies talking is I always thought it's my daughter, that I'm doing all the business for her, but actually it's for all the ladies who are really powerful and they're dimming their light so someone else can shine. So someone else is shining, but actually they should be shining. And it hurts me because I was there for most of my life. And when I see, I went today, I had a manicure and I saw this amazing woman who was doing my nails. I knew she's a powerful lady. I could see her light and she was dimming it because she thought she cannot have her own business. And it hurts me. It literally hurts my heart. That's it.
Yes, I love that. Anya.
Yes, I think my why is, and I'll say this is just, sorry, I literally just saw my son has a bag on his head. So I was like, do I need to go rescue him? Sorry, ladies. Really, my why for a lot of these hard asks is because I'm really curious. And I'm just curious, like, what could happen if I have that conversation? Or what could happen if, some collaboration could occur? So that's a really important part about why I do it, because I'm just so curious. So I have my why as my family, my husband, all these reasons, and for myself, for self-satisfaction. But I'm just curious, what could happen? I love the possibility of like the what if. And that really drives me and motivates me. And that's why I don't really get too bummed if it's a no, because I think, okay, well, then that wasn't the right one. But like, what could happen with this next conversation? So I just approach a lot of this as collaboration and curiosity about what could happen.
I love, 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 love that. It also kind of takes away the pressure, right? That fear. It's kind of like, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if, what if this did happen? And you like play around with the idea without being attached to that end result, which is what I think Tanel said. And we talked about that on Monday again, right? It's just so powerful. You ladies are powerful. Nidu, I'm going to see if you have any last words as we start to wrap it up. Or Carolina has one more thing to say, I think.
I'm just laughing at the comments. No, I just want to say that, so I moved countries several times in my last 10 years, right? And every time that I was immigrating, however you want to get it, I was asking to myself why I am going there. Like, because, moving to another country is tough. It's tough. You need to, adjust a lot of things in your life, everything pretty much. So when I was in Boston, I remember one of my best friends, I was asking him, hey, Tony, I don't know why I need to go back to Spain. I don't get it. I mean, I'm okay in Boston. I have my community, my job, I have everything settled up. My parents are in DC, so we are pretty near. I don't understand why my destiny is back in Europe. And he told me, Carol, your mission in Boston is completed. And you have a new mission that you still don't know it in Spain. And that's what you gotta get. And And that was true. I didn't know what was going to be my new mission in Spain. But after some months, I discovered that not only I was going to get a new job, which is what I do now, but also grow in the dancing community in Spain, which I included was the big flash mob that I organized in Barcelona with almost 200 people. So that was one of my missions, and I didn't know that at that time. So, trust in the process is so important, even if you don't know why some things are moving, And yeah, I can host the dance party on Saturday if you want.
That's what I was waiting for, Carolina.
That was so beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. And I just want to echo a lot of the amazing panelists today for your why and your purpose and for really charging forward. I echoed Tanel earlier. My daughters are my why because they look up to me and they'll either charge forward or they'll back down. And I certainly don't want them to ever back down. And I think beyond that in life, when we leave here today, we have to choose whether we're going to give up or we're going to give it all. And we can either choose to wonder quietly to ourselves if our ask would ever be met, or we can be vocal about our ask, give it a chance to be heard, and give a chance for our ask to actually come to fruition. And there have been words spoken today that have absolutely been eye-opening and inspiring for me. I hope you've all been inspired and motivated, and it's instrumental what we've learned today and talked about to the forward progression of us as women as a whole. So I just want to say to the panel, to Raimonda, I have truly appreciated all of you today. And thank you for being on the panel with Jess and I.
Celebrate yourself, ladies. This was such a great conversation, a great panel. We're going to have a dance party on the weekend, and I'm so excited. I'm here for it. And yeah, you all just bring so much to these conversations every day. And I feel like just truly blessed to have been a part of this journey with all of you and learning so much. I learn so much every single day listening to you. And so this has been a blessing. I'm so excited. We still have another day tomorrow, and I'll just, pass it over to Raimonda in case she has a few things to say about that. But thank you all. You are all powerhouses, and go after what you want. Ask for what you want.
Oh my goodness. I'm just giving you all, both participants, our attendees, you ladies, a big hug for being here, part of this panel, sharing so powerfully as Colette was sharing. And I was just looking at all of your beautiful faces here today and your beautiful shares. Literally tears started coming down my eyes, and I just feel this huge sense of gratitude for this moment, for us being able to come together. Start. Gratitude for us coming together in this space to create opportunity for these conversations to happen, because I know through us sharing so powerfully, vulnerably, openly, we have been able to inspire and empower somebody else. I have personally struggled myself with ask and trying to be a warrior woman, trying to carry it all on your own, and sometimes suffering because of that, because of not being brave to say something, to ask for it, to speak up, and just shrink, right? Not stepping in those shoes. So it can be difficult to be in that space and not have the courage to ask. And then we end up carrying everything. So I'm grateful that I have been able to ask you ladies to be part of this platform and learn to ask for help, and for you to also come forward and say, Ray, can I support you when I do forget to ask? So that has been a beautiful experience that you have all been so giving, kind, and supportive to this platform to actually bring forward your value, your time, your contribution to this platform, and to help transform other people. I think what we've discussed today is going to be very, very powerful. And I was just sitting back and really just taking everything in and just seeing your beautiful experiences, your insights. And I hope that audience have really enjoyed today and what you have heard. Tomorrow is not a last day. It is Friday, but it's day 5. We still have some beautiful talks by our speakers. I hope you get to join in. If you have any challenges with any tech, with upgrading your tickets, if you have any questions, please do reach out, let us know. We have been trying to make sure that everyone has a beautiful and smooth experience throughout. Support one another. You know, I have seen so much support around this the speakers community, and I have learned to ask the speakers to collaborate and do things and support, and that's what I've learned. We are always willing to help. People are always willing to help. The moments that I was willing to be vulnerable and say, look, I am going through something, and reach out for help, I have received more help than I thought was out there for me. So if there are moments in your life when, or even if you're going through something personally or in business, or you're carrying too much and you don't know what to do, asking for help will get you out of that situation. And I promise you, people love to help. People love to be asked for help, right? Because we can realize ourselves. We can support somebody else. We can share our knowledge. And if we don't know what we can do, we will sure find somebody else who can help you. So this is the power of community, network, having supported women. And I'm just so, so grateful to have you all on this platform. Thank you, ladies, for another wonderful day. I'm celebrating you all. Thank you to Dr. Claire, Iman, Jess, Michelle, Sarah, to all of you speakers, Monica. I know it's getting late, same for me. For Carolina for joining us, for Jessica for co-hosting this panel. You have been amazing. Thank you for those questions. Bonita for being here today and contributing some beautiful shares. That was really wonderful. Colette, I appreciate you, sister. You have been amazing, amazing shares and always inspiring words of wisdom. Deborah, your light is continuing to shine. I love your energy. Elena, thank you. You have been amazing throughout the process. Nikki, thank you so much for being here and supporting the platform. I love how you show up. Ramel, your talk has been beautiful yesterday. I hope you all get to catch it. And also Carolina's talk today was on fire. Jessica's talk was on fire today. Oh my God. Today's talks have been just, oh my God, I can't describe it. It's been amazing. Tanel, you know how much I appreciate you and love you, and your voice on this platform, your talk was amazing. Everyone has just been so, so beautiful throughout this whole process. So yeah, thank you. We'll see you all tomorrow for another beautiful day. Appreciate you all. Have a wonderful rest of your day, your evening, get some rest. And yeah, we'll see you all tomorrow. Take care for now. Bye.